Girlfriend wants expensive engagement ring, and it is tearing us apart. Hello friends. I never thought I would be here seeking advice from the internet, but I don't know where else to turn. Looking for honest feedback, even if it means kicking my ass. My girlfriend, 30F, and I, 32M, have been dating for about 1.5 years and have a great relations IHP for the most part. We have introduced each other to new things and share the same sense of adventure and travel. My family loves her and her family loves me. There is however one major issue that is now tearing us apart, and that is the engagement ring. Both her and I decided we want to get engaged, and I was planning on just going to the store and getting something modest, but beautiful. Probably in the $2,000–$4,000 range. When we first brought up the idea of being engaged, we touched on the ring, and that was our first major disagreement on the topic. She indicated she expected a ring in the $20,000–$25,000 range, and this completely blew me away. She always has liked nice things, and honestly so do I. But the idea that she expected a ring in that price range, I felt was extremely disrespectful, and has caused me to completely shut down and question the whole relationship. Not only did I indicate that I thought the idea of spending that much on a ring was absolutely insane, I also expressed how it was insulting for her to expect a ring in that range. A gift is a gift, right? Is it not inappropriate to expect anything when receiving a gift? We then went into tough negotiations on the topic, and I eventually talked her down to the $10,000–$15,000 range, but even that I said I was uncomfortable with. I told her the most I would want to spend on a ring would be $6,000, and at that point, she told me that that was chump change, and if I was going to buy a ring that cheap, that I should just not get one at all because she would not want it, although she would still marry me. But how is that supposed to make me feel? That last bit in particular is what has sent me into a downward spiral with questioning this whole relationship. Wouldn't want a ring from me if it only costs $6,000? She typically pulls the usual line that other girls say, which is, all my life I imagined my fiancé would get me an amazing ring, etc. etc., which I am very quick to roll my eyes at. This girl has such a spiritual side to her, which is what originally attracted me to her. We love having conversations about the mysteries of the universe, the divine energy around us, etc. We have literally camped out in the middle of the desert under the stars having these types of conversations, and it energizes my soul. We talk about being free of worldly desires and being proud of that. That is why it is so difficult for me to wrap my head around this other side of her. Anytime this conversation comes up, she tells me that if I really loved her, I would have no problem buying her what she wanted, and have no problem opening my heart and spending freely on her. It seems like she is linking my money and my spending habits to my love for her. My annual salary is $113,000 per year, and she says she is only asking for a $20,000 ring because she knows my salary, and wouldn't ask for a ring that expensive if I made less money. She says that just because a $20,000 ring doesn't make sense to me, doesn't mean it should not be important to her. Then she talks about how I should just forget it and she will just buy the ring for herself. What's funny, is I have talked to my family and her dad about this, and even her dad is on my side and has indicated that if a girl ever treats his son the way his daughter is treating me, he would be offended. She insists that she loves me to death, and is so grateful that I am in her life, and I believe her. However, I just can't get past this. My question is this: am I the one who is being selfish and rigid by refusing to budge from my $6,000 price tag? My opinion is that a ring is a gift, and when someone receives a gift, they should not have an expectation on how much that gift should cost. If she really loves me and respects me, she would appreciate whatever ring I get her, regardless of cost. Edit. One thing I forgot to mention is that she makes $140,000 per year, which I think is the only reason I haven't totally packed up and walked away. The idea being that as soon as we get married, whatever amount we purchase the ring for, will ultimately be our money, and not just my money. I guess it is more important for her to show off rather than marry you. I'd think about it before marrying her. Remember, it is more important to marry the right person instead of getting married before 40. Just my opinion, but I would definitely think about it. My friend, if this is the cost of engagement, get ready for the wedding and the marriage. Run, run, run. If you really loved her? Once that line comes out, you can be sure that you are dealing with a narcissistic personality. That to me is the single biggest red flag in the whole post. Get ready for the manipulative statements, which will be coming hard and fast. Take her up on the offer of not getting a ring. I got my wife of 10 years a twig tied into a knot for engagement. which was later replaced with a small family ring, and a nice handmade wedding ring of white and yellow gold for around $800. Arguments like this would have been an absolute dealbreaker for me. Okay, your edit does change things completely. It's ultimately y'all's money and a girl wants what she wants. She'll wear it every day for the rest of her life. You, as a team, can afford it. Hell, she can afford to buy it all on her own. I get why she thinks spending $7K on something she doesn't want is a waste. It's not anywhere near as bad in context for her to say she's fine without one if she can't have this one. But I'd consider at least practicing the joint finances thing. Form a budget. Discuss all assets. Don't merge accounts yet, but perhaps start operating a merged budget and make sure no other red flags crop up with how you view money and savings. Dude, you can get a fat lab-grown ring for way cheaper than a mined diamond. I know a guy who bought a 1.7 carat ring for $20K, mined, and I'm planning on getting my girlfriend a 2.1 carat ring with great features and specs for like $10K, lab-grown. It still looks expensive and it's chemically the same as a mined diamond. Every girl wants to show off, and although her behavior still isn't justified, you can easily satisfy her wishes if you went lab-grown. Just go with the "she buys one herself" option. How much does she make? 2 questions, the answer to which might makes the pricey ring okay. Is her family going to be providing a substantial dowry to you? Like bonds or a house down payment, etc., in an amount at least 2 times the pricey ring. Does she have a trust or other prearranged inheritance? If so, how big? Notice I didn't ask if her family was rich and she might inherit. If the answer to those Q are in line, her expectations might not be so out there. However, I think she is just a terrible person. I cost my fiancé his pro fight and now he wants nothing to do with me. Alright, I'm going to try keep this as short as possible whilst still trying to get what happened as efficiently and clear as possible. My partner and I have been engaged for 3 months and together for 1.5 years. He's a kickboxer and has always been passionate for the sport. He's been through all his amateur fights and has done very well. His coach set up his first pro fight after he paid all his dues, dominating most fights in the amateurs. He's supposed to have his first pro fight in 4 weeks and he was ecstatic about it. He's the most disciplined man I know and has devoted literal blood, sweat and tears into this passion. Last week, we were out with a girlfriend of mine and I, regretfully, had more than enough to drink. I was at the bar grabbing another drink with my girlfriend and there were 2 men at the bar who were being slightly annoying but didn't exactly go too far. Unfortunately, I was a little tipsy and started mouthing off at them. My fiancé saw this happening and came to de-escalate the situation as well as figure out what was going on. I'd like to state that my fiancé always expressed that he hates street fights as they are always unpredictable and that he would rather avoid them because of certain repercussions. At first, he completely de-escalated the issue and that was that. However, me, being the tipsy idiot I was, began mouthing off to them once we were out of the bar and onto the strip. My fiancé kept telling me to cool it, but the 2 men started to get annoyed and came towards us and said something along the lines of, "What the fuck is your problem?" My fiancé told me to stay back and he once again tried to de-escalate the situation but to no success. The 2 men were angry and already began getting close to my boyfriend, to which my fiancé said, "Just back off. Go the opposite way and we'll leave it at that." This didn't work and one of the men tried to attack my fiancé, but he was able to land a body shot and temporarily drop one of the 2 men. The other man charged at my boyfriend and took him to the ground. He has about 15 kilograms on my fiancé, and started punching him on the ground. The other man got up and they both proceeded to attack my boyfriend. Some people who were passing by helped stop the fight and the 2 men ran away. As a result of this, he now has broken ribs and broken nose. His coach said that he won't allow him to fight in his upcoming pro fight. My fiancé was so heartbroken by my actions that night that he didn't even let me come into the hospital room with him. I feel like a monster for what I did. I wish I never drank that night. I feel so terrible. He was being very cold with me for the next week or so and just wouldn't see me or pick up my phone calls. I don't know what to do to make this right. I can't bear the thought of not being with him. We were planning to get married in 6 and he told me he wanted to call it off over a phone call. I've been crying ever since. I've been trying to call him, text him, everything. He just doesn't want anything to do with me. What can I do to show him how sorry I am and prove to him that what happened will never happen again? I heard from his sister that he's just been at his apartment alone all day every day. He had to take time off work due to the injuries he sustained, and I'm honestly very worried about him. I want to help him, but he has completely shut me out. I know I'm a horrible person for what I did. I understand the sacrifice, strength, courage and discipline he has put into his passion, and I just threw that all away because I decided to drink more than what I should have. I just don't know what to do. Please, can someone offer some help? I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me. I'm a horrible person for what I did, but I just don't want to lose him. He's perfect in every way. He was always the most kind, gentle, pure-hearted man, and I'm head over heels for him. I cannot imagine life without him. I don't want to make this about me, but I just cannot lose him, and I want to help him crawl out of the hellhole he is currently. You're wrong. It's not that you decided to drink more than you should have. It's you bad-mouthing people when you're drunk. Then you decided to keep pushing it and disrespect your fiancé when he already de-escalated the situation. There is nothing you can do but to give him space and time. Respect his wishes. Deal with the consequences. People get a little bit too drunk all the time, yet they don't act the way you do. You're minimizing your responsibilities here by a lot by stating that you just drank a bit more than necessary. Fix your attitude and avoid drinking if you can't control yourself when you do. There's nothing much you can do about it aside from being patient and respecting his choice not to talk to you for the time being. I really don't think you can do anything about this but learn from this mistake. You crushed his dreams. Give him space and work on accepting the fact that he very likely will never want to see you again. I mean, it really sounds like you should probably stop drinking. Anyone who drinks to the point of acting out and uncontrollability has a problem. This situation doesn't seem rectifiable to the extent you're hoping. If it was me, I'd probably stop drinking and tell him so, then give him space. 'Cause honestly, the ball's in his court. Well, you completely fucked up. You took something from him that was very important to him. I don't think he can ever completely forgive you for that. If he doesn't break up with you, then he eventually will talk to you again, but there will for sure be changes in the future. Like he will not go out with you anymore when you even have one drink. I also think there is nothing you can do. It's like breaking someone's arm, or nose and ribs, and then asking, how can I fix it? If he loves you, he will let you back in his life. GL. The harmless old game of, let's you and him fight, while you stand back for entertainment. What's the worst that can happen, you say? That it costs someone his life. What if the other guys had weapons? That it cost someone his career. What if he wound up in prison, convicted of manslaughter? That it cost you your relationship? Well, in a nutshell, yes, any one of these. You're also kind of lucky it's not the first. At the absolute least, maybe you can learn that actions have consequences and sometimes there's no putting Humpty Dumpty together again. Well, it's understandable how you feel since your drunken behavior put his fighting career on hold. I am betting in your drunken mentality that you wanted your fiancé to defend you during the altercation, so you kept egging those guys on. Not saying they were in the right in how they acted, but you played your part. Right now, he is going to be focusing on his recovery so he can resume training and hopefully get another chance at a match. Removing you from the equation lets him focus entirely on that and not have to deal with a drunken idiot. There isn't much to do but give him space. It's entirely up to him on how he wants to proceed, and right now he doesn't want to see you. I hope this young king leaves you. He deserves better. My boyfriend hates the way I dress for work. Too long did not read. My boyfriend hates how I dress for work and will ignore me for 3-4 days. We have a 2-month-old son. I'm 23F and he's 33M. We have been together 3 years. I work weekend shifts at my local bar and will often wear something more on the showy side for work. It's nothing over the top, but it definitely helps with tips and I feel cute in the clothes. It is similar to what the other bartenders wear. This wasn't a problem until I had a baby late March. My body snapped back very quickly and my figure really filled out to more of an adult woman's hourglass shape, and my breasts are quite large since I'm exclusively breastfeeding. Now, the same clothes I wore before the baby are a problem to him because of how different I look, and I don't think that's fair. Last night I came home from work and he immediately would not speak with me because of the cleavage I was showing. He said, "No guy wants his girlfriend to dress like that, you're a mom now, you shouldn't wear that. Why do you always wear something like that? And, you can wear it but I can be mad." I don't think it's fair that he's mad. I told him it's controlling and I don't want him telling me how to dress nor make me choose different clothes just to avoid a fight. I also told him I'm an adult woman who can make her own choices. I'm much younger than him and just starting to embrace my postpartum body. I want him to have more respect for me as the mother of his child, and I'm tired of getting the cold shoulder for 3-4 days because of clothes I put on my body once in a while. I feel like he is totally seeing me as an object when I dress semi-provocatively. I want to respect his feelings and make him happy, but not at the expense of my own happiness and freedom. I'm at the point where I'm just going to change clothes before I come home from work. Please help us reach a middle ground. Maybe I'm wrong. Breaking up is not currently an option and I don't particularly want to break up over this. Edit. There is a large language barrier. He moved here from China at 25 years old. English is his second language. He does not use Reddit. Edit 2. I know you're not supposed to make 2 edits, but I just wanted to say thanks for everyone who gave me advice even if I didn't want to hear it. I'm logging off this account because people are starting to say really uncalled things and I'm still experiencing postpartum depressive symptoms. I asked for his number. I asked him out to our first date. All his past partners were his age. We met at work. So your controlling older boyfriend is uncomfortable that you got hot after having his baby? Also seems very concerned about your clothes, less so about baby or your recovery. What? One of the reasons he probably started dating someone 10 years his minor in the first place was because he wanted and still wants some level of control over you. Men in their 30s do not seek out women that are fresh out of their teens because they're looking for an equal partner. The fact that he's comfortable giving the mother of his child the silent treatment for days on end because she's showing cleavage is ridiculous and proves how immature he is. You don't need to find a middle ground. He needs a reality check that his girlfriend is allowed to wear whatever she wants to work and that you deserve some level of respect as his child's mother. My boyfriend hates the way I dress for work. I'm 23F and he's 33M. We have been together 3 years. Person facepalming, person facepalming, person facepalming. He's being immature. He's dating a bartender. That's how bartenders dress to get tips. Everyone who goes to bars knows that. If he doesn't like it, he shouldn't date a bartender. There is no middle ground. You wear what you want and he has to deal with it. Why do you think he needs to date someone 10 years younger? He is too immature for people his own age. Ask him if the reason he went for someone so much younger is because, deep down, he wants a doll he can dress up and be in charge of and make feel shame for how their body looks. You decide what you wear. No exceptions. There are plenty of men out there who don't believe their partner is a doll they get to dress. You're his partner, not his ward or child. If he wants things to work out, he's going to have to respect your choices. After all, you chose him, so if your choices aren't to be respected, then might as well question all of them, including choosing him. Why were you dating a 30-year-old at 20? He's trying to control you and sounds like he has been for a while. Well, if you don't want to break up, then you need to talk to him and tell him how you feel. He won't like it. I honestly think he's being immature. My dad believes that my COVID vaccine is going to kill me. It all started last year in March 2020 when we were told to stay home. My dad somehow got into watching conspiracy theory videos on the internet. At first, I didn't pay much attention to it as I didn't think it was a big deal. I mean, we all have our things we enjoy watching, right? Fast forward to now, my dad has gone fully down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole. Think QAnon, Dr. Fauci, that sort of thing, and it is impossible to talk to him about anything else. He refuses to listen to any mainstream news and says that I am ignorant for following the mainstream blindly. This is the problem. I am an educator, and in my country, teachers were third in line to receive the COVID vaccine after frontline workers and the elderly. I registered and received my first vaccine in March, and I am supposed to get my second shot this month. He has been extremely against getting vaccinated as he believes COVID is a lie and that the vaccine is going to slowly kill us all off and cause infertility. I told him that I got my first vaccination and he told me he was disappointed and sad. He also said that it is not normal to be so sick after receiving the vaccination and is somehow convinced that I will soon be infertile. I tried to have a reasonable discussion with him about this and I explained my reasons for getting the vaccine. I told him that if he chooses not to get vaccinated, it is his choice, but for me personally, I felt it was the right thing for me to do. Well, this was not well received at all and ended up having a massive argument with me and said that if I get the second vaccination, I will become infertile and die before him, and I am harming myself and not seeing the truth about what the media, government is trying to do to us. I was honestly so shocked, confused and upset. I didn't know how to respond to this. It has gotten to the point that we cannot speak to each other anymore because this is all he talks about. I love my dad so much and I am very worried about him. I somehow feel that in a way it is my fault that he has gone so far into these theories. Maybe I should have said something when he first started watching these videos, but I didn't think it would come to this. I have no idea what to do or how to help. My dad and I used to have such a good relationship and now, I don't know who he is anymore. What can I do? I have told some of my family members and they are also not sure how to help. I miss my dad and I just want him back. Look around the sub-RQA non-casualties. You will see you're not alone and they can offer resources and coping tips. Let him believe what he wants to believe. And every time you talk to him, you can say, "Dad, I'm not dead yet. It's a miracle. He's an idiot." When a dog barks at you or a cow moos at you, you don't scream at it and tell it to stop. You recognize its lack of intelligence, smile pitifully and disengage. My parents also believe the vaccine will kill me, even though I got mine in February. Healthcare worker. I've started just deflecting by saying, "Gosh, I hope it does," when they say it'll make me infertile or kill me. They have no response to that. Rolling on the floor laughing. If, after a while, you don't die and can still have babies, maybe he'll realize he's a dumb ass and knock it off. I don't have any good advice other than to try your best to ignore this topic when speaking to him. Don't bring it up yourself, and when he does, then shut it down and immediately move on from it. I also want to stress that this is not your fault in any way. The interest and capacity for believing conspiracies was already there, it wasn't something you caused or encouraged. He's an adult who has control over himself. He fell down this rabbit hole himself and has to be the one who gets himself out. I know it's hard, but eventually he'll learn that if he doesn't agree to disagree with you on this, your relationship suffers. But please don't blame yourself. People grow into folks like your dad by never facing a consequence in their lives. Maybe it's time you cut contact for a bit and let him feel the first consequences of his life. It might open his eyes to reality a little bit.